happening right now on the Burnside Bridge. A group of people leading what they're calling a women's strike. You can see some of them dressed in red there along both sides of the Burnside Bridge. This is one of many rallies scheduled across Oregon today to bring attention to reproductive health care ahead of the 2024 presidential election. Thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Drew Carney. Today marks 2 years since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and there are 5 rallies planned to mark that decision. The first started just last hour at Ibach Park in Tualatin. There's another rally that was scheduled for this hour in Port Orford along the southern Oregon coast. City Park in the Dalles is hosting a rally starting at 3. There's one in eastern Oregon at 4 o'clock at the Wallowa County Courthouse. And there's a rally happening at 4:30 at the Josephine County Courthouse in Grants Pass. State Representative Lori Chavez-DeRemer released a statement today regarding the Roe v. Wade decision 2 years ago, saying in part that Oregonians have made it clear they want reproductive health rights protected. She also says that that's the reason that she's pledged to oppose federal policies that would change reproductive health care access for women here in Oregon. Firefighters in Wasco County, meanwhile, spent most of this past weekend trying to get a wildfire under control about 4 miles outside of Maupin. Earlier this morning, we reported the Long Bend fire had grown to 2,500 acres, but Central Oregon Fire corrected that number, saying it's actually grown to about 1,000 acres since it was first spotted Saturday afternoon. It's also only 5% contained. The state's emergency management department says just over 100 people are under level 2 evacuation orders. That means they have to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. One positive note here, officials say this fire is moving towards rocks that will prevent it from spreading more quickly. Of course, the 4th of July holiday is just a week from this Thursday, and as they do every year at this time, Portland Fire and Rescue is bringing attention to the potential dangers that come with using fireworks. Last hour, they held a press conference reminding people that personal fireworks have been banned in Portland since 2022. They also talked about the reasons behind that decision, which include mitigating the risk of wildfires.
We regularly lose structures. We've lost life. We've had a triple homicide recently, and we have a lot of damage to our wildland spaces as a result of personal recreational fireworks displays. So they are banned in the city of Portland. We've got an amazing show down here at the Hawthorne Bridge on July 4th. Come see that.
There are both potential civil and criminal penalties for violating Portland's fireworks ban. KGW's Daisy Caballero will have more on what Portland Fire and Rescue discussed today, coming up later on KGW News at 4. All right, we're going to take a quick break from our news headlines here to check in with Rodney Hill in the Weather Center. So, Rod, let's talk about today's fantastic forecast.
Yeah, really nice. Beautiful sunshine out there. No weather issues anywhere. Everybody is reporting some sun right now in our local area. A quick footnote in terms of fire danger. You know, I've been happily telling you about that fact that we haven't had that hot of a spring into the start of summer yet. We've hit 90 degrees 4 times, and they've all been 90, 91, 92. But keep in mind, even if we don't go on a hot run, we haven't had a ton of precip either. We've been pretty much normal, but normal for this time of the year is also pretty dry. And my point is, you know, we go a week, 10 days, 2 weeks this time of the year with no precip, which is pretty normal. And things will dry out in a hurry. So fire danger can be higher than what you may otherwise think it's going to be. Okay, the forecast is simple. Let me take you through some live cameras. It was cloudy up on the North Shore, but as expected, we're clearing out now. There's a beautiful noon hour with some sunny blue skies over Cannon Beach. Here's inland up in Woodland, Lewis River Golf Course, a beautiful spot with blue skies, people out enjoying a round of golf. And then downtown Portland, we're now up to 68 degrees. I have us just shy of 80, but some of you probably will make it to 80 or 81 this afternoon. 75 at 8 o'clock. Certainly a nice afternoon to get outside and enjoy. Drew?
All right, we'll have more from Rod coming up here in a few minutes, but right now we want to get to some other local headlines we're following for you here at noon. Portland Fire is investigating the cause of a fire that broke out at a bookstore early this morning. Firefighters say they got the call around 5:30 a.m. about a fire at the Dark Star Magic Bookstore on East Burnside and 7th. Portland Fire and Rescue says they saw smoke coming from a broken storefront window. The fire was put out within minutes, but there's still no word yet as to what started the fire. A 16-year-old is dead and an 18-year-old is in custody after a deadly shooting in Salem Sunday morning. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says the shooting happened just before 1 o'clock a.m. at a home, off South Skyline Road. They said paramedics tried to save the teenager, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The name of the 16-year-old has not yet been released, but deputies did arrest 18-year-old David Ion Urbano from Salem and charged him with second-degree murder. He's scheduled to appear in court this afternoon on a second-degree murder charge. And a fourth teenager has been arrested in connection to a group who fatally shot a cat in Salem last month. Police say they arrested a 16-year-old suspect on Saturday. They believe he's the one who actually pulled the trigger while the rest of the group watched. The 16-year-old has been charged with first-degree aggravated animal abuse and is currently being held at the Marion County Juvenile Detention Center. Salem police say 3 other teens, a 15-year-old and 2 17-year-olds, were also arrested. They've been charged with animal abuse. And that's a look at some of this afternoon's local headlines. This video shows the moments, and you can actually hear the moment. A driver was caught on camera rear-ending a man's brand new car before he sped off. The owner of the car says he just bought it back in October. Now, as he told KGW Sydney Dorner, he's hoping someone can help track the person down.
About 2 weeks ago, Herschel Lamb was coming from Vancouver to visit his friend living in Northeast Portland. While his car was parked overnight, a white Mercedes hit his car at 3 in the morning, leaving $14,000 in damage to a car that only had 7,000 miles.
So yeah, it's just shocking. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and this was all a dream, but I think it's not going to happen now. I think it's for real.
Herschel Lamb is still in awe how someone's reckless behavior could cause him so much grief. He's a car enthusiast who just bought a brand new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek in October. He didn't get much time to enjoy it after someone rear-ended it on June 10th.
My friends woke me up at 6:30 in the morning to say my car had been hit. And so I came downstairs and looked, and sure enough, there was extensive damage to it. And the neighbors caught it on their Ring camera.
His friend's house is off Northeast 72nd Avenue and Halsey Street, with neighbors saying they saw and heard the loud crash before the driver sped off. When they ran out to capture the person's license plate, they had already made a quick right on Halsey.
I'm assuming somebody was intoxicated at 3:30 in the morning, and probably the bars closed and they were out. So yeah, I don't know. It's just amazing to me that somebody wouldn't stop and identify or leave some information.
Lamb says he is still working things out with his insurance, but probably won't have to pay a high deductible. He says his main concern is the value that his car lost and the accountability not taken.
It's very violating, and I realize it could have been worse. I could have been in the car, but it's such a violation when somebody does something like this to you.
Now, the car was identified by Mercedes Portland as a Mercedes C model from 2015 to 2018. Lamb filed a report with Portland Police and is asking if anyone has any information to please come forward. Back to you.
Again, that was Sydney Dorner reporting for us this afternoon. We're also learning more about a man who died after being hit by 2 cars back on February 5th. Friends of Ron Gall say he was walking to a nearby RV park when he was hit and killed by 2 cars along Northeast MLK Boulevard. Gall's friends say he was homeless and lived just off Northeast MLK. His friends decided to commemorate his life with this memorial to ensure that he was never forgotten.
When he died and I felt like nobody was gonna know about it, I was really sad because I was like, this was a really good human being.
Gall was 61 years old. So far, no arrests have been made. Portland police, though, say both drivers involved in this accident have cooperated with officers.